change the terms very often. Now, let's talk about that in on a marketplace. Marketplace is different. Marketplace is a place in which the marketplace environment is set by the purveyor of the marketplace. So they are setting it. eBay, Etsy, a uh, Dodo, a Alibaba. They're setting the terms. Occasionally, the seller may be able to modify some of those terms. But those are rule settings within the technology of the marketplace. So the for ag or full harvest, for example, we actually had a net 7 payment terms. And the reason for that is because you have a perishable product. It's far different than other types of hard assets. Perishable products means that it moves fast, you pay fast. And so as soon as you're pulling the trigger on buying something, it's getting on the road within 24 hours to move logistics, get a truck to go pick up the produce and go deliver it in 24. And here in the United States is so big, it may take 5 days to go from one side of the country to the other. And so there isn't much time to waste on delivering product. And so you don't put stuff on the road until you know that there's a guaranteed payment. Now coming back to your question about payments, is there an issue with payments? Yes, there is an issue with payments and conversion, and so your assumption is correct. Everybody has issues with payments. Collections doesn't exist. It's not a there's a whole industry around collections because people don't pay. And there's a whole industry on credit and credit lines because they might have cash flow issues. So you're identifying well-known issues. What you need to do as an organization on your side is to understand what is the size of those industries respectively. Credit is an industry, collections is an industry, terms and facilitating just facilitating terms is a micro industry by itself. You need to do the investigation and find out what are the business opportunities within that, and can you work as a partner in a marketplace, or do you have to create your own marketplace in order to facilitate that?
Um, have you maybe heard about like industrial solution and not industrial, but like ready to go solutions like Balance, called GetBalance.com, I guess, and few more.
I know
They're like,
I've heard of balance. I just don't know the broad sense of its application.
yep. Well, their like value proposition basically is we provide customer-like experience on checkout for B2B, etc. And there are a few cases of application, those kind of payment solutions on checkout of at ag, ag tech B2B marketplaces. Um, the assumption was that since there's like perishable products and 7-day terms, net terms, there might be a request for instant payment. I mean, 0-day terms.
That's good.
Um,
We
but
we
on
were
the other,
approached at full harvest. We were approached at full harvest by two companies providing similar services that we could offer to our buyers that they could just utilize financing, instant financing, for payment, immediate payment. And so those are services that are already in the marketplace, in the general sphere of B2B marketplaces.
would you say that there is still a space for? I mean, there might be a space for the solution when there is a problem, and what we're trying to investigate if there is a problem in like payments or financing. So, your what would you say if there is like specifically in ag is there payment problem or financing problem right now? Just directly.
So yeah, we had uh, collections on less than we had collections problems issues on less than 1% of our transactions. So from our side, from an ag marketplace, we didn't have too many problems. One of the ways that we avoided that was we had an extraordinarily rigorous vetting process to become a buyer on our platform. Similarly, we have an extraordinarily rigorous vetting process to become a seller. It's not that these entities, a buyer or a seller, has to go in front of a committee and get reviewed, and prostate themselves. It's that there are so many different pieces of information to disclose and to get set up that you don't want to mess that up as a company. And as a company on the corporate side, as a buyer, it takes a lot for a Jamba Juice or a Safeway or any one of the large buyers who do food processing to go through their procurement department, which is legal, which is accounting, which is finance. It takes a lot for them to get a entity like Full Harvest approved for them to transact business. So they don't want to mess up those relationships. So they tend not to uh, have issues with payment on the collection side. Where there are issues, at least from the Full Harvest marketplace side, is that they are slow in paying. They pay when they want to pay. We might say net 7 terms, but they're still paying. They'll pay net 30, net 60. That means Full Harvest is floating a loan for 60 days. And so that is an issue. And you'll find that's an issue across lots of marketplaces. The big marketplaces like an Alibaba, they don't have to deal with that. They are so big. They are probably bigger than 99% of buyers out there. And so they can shut off buyers instantly. Full Harvest is far smaller. They have to allow for some buyers taking advantage of them. And so there are opportunities, as you're trying to figure out right now, to provide financing to shortcut the payments that may take a long time to collect, 30 or 60 days, back down to 7 days, which mitigates risk for the business.
Well, you're trying to reduce this risk by vetting the buyers.
Yeah.
Th- yep. So by saying 1%, do you mean it's default risk or it's just skipping the terms?
Yeah. So I'll define it a little bit better. So we had less than 0.1% defaulting.
Point one. All
We
right.
had about 1% missing payments. And
See.
so, and I'd say 20% were paying within. So we have net 7. We had 20% paying 7 to 30 days in those net terms. They'd say, yeah, we can't get it to you in 7 days, but we can get it to you within 30 days. That's how long it takes just to go from my buyer to their boss to the accounting department to and then sorry, to the finance department, to the accounting department, and then a check is issued or money is sent via direct deposit. Just that process in many of the large buyers, it takes them 2 weeks just to process the paperwork. So they say, we can't even think about making your net 7. The closest we could come would be net 17.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, just an example. Let's say we have an average uh, order. I mean, we have an order for like 100K, and we have mm, 30-day overdue of term. So it probably will cost, I don't know, like 1% in US, this additional months. How much
Oh,
we
so
pay
you're talking about
interest?
carry costs. You're talking about interest payment, interest on that $100,000. Is that what you're asking?
I'm trying to understand that there might be some, I don't know, like 1, maybe 2% of cost
No,
of the capital.
penalty.
So the question is that an issue for the supplier, this kind of money? Is that something they think about? Or it's just, I don't know, like part of the process? We don't care, like how they
What
treat it.
you're talking about is it's called a carry cost.
Carry cost.
Carry cost is how long can you carry the burden of lending out your money to buy the product for a buyer and a seller. You're because it's full harvest. That's actually putting the money out there to buy the product. Money has to come in from the seller to full harvest bank accounts, and the money has to go out from full harvest bank accounts to the to the seller. That is one model. It doesn't mean it's ever all models. eBay, for example, they facilitate a payment direct between buyer and seller, and they are a third party, and they invoice, they bill the seller and say, "Hey, you owe us money, and we're going to take it directly out of your bank account. You've already given us your bank account information or your credit card information. We're taking it directly. You go and collect the money from your buyer." So that's a different model. The model that Full Harvest has taken is they are facilitating the payment. So when you ask about the carry costs, there are significant carry costs. I, Full Harvest, it's buying and selling millions of dollars a day of produce, and if 1% of that is extending out their terms by an extra 21 days, and it's a approximately 1%. The terms in the if you look at the contract, you sign up as a buyer, look at the contract, it says that you will pay a penalty of 1% per month, um, amortized over whatever the late period is. So 1% divided uh, by 30 days, multiplied by 21, whatever that is, whatever that fraction. That's and then multiply that by the amount that's financed. Sure, that's the carry cost, or that's the carry fee to the seller. The actual cost to the business of Full Harvest, I'd say it's actually more significant because that's capital that can't be used for paying engineers or hiring a new staff, or expanding their footprint and expanding their marketing because the cash is being used and not not available for financing the business. So yes, it is significant. So we have 3 minutes left.
I see.
What do you,
Well, the last question, just to specify from my side, if it is kind of significant, is it something which is it kind of a problem space which somebody tries to solve or companies work about, and how do they do that right now?
so you can actually see this very easily. Just go to any place. You can go to Amazon. Uh, you can go to eBay. You can go to Alibaba. They have a button that says "Pay with your credit card," "Pay with your checking account," uh, "Make payments," or "Finances." And there are different kinds of services that they put the logos there.
Mm,
On the B2B side, they're the same things that are being provided.
I see.
Companies approach marketplaces and say, "Hey, we can provide this service and we can provide it real time as they're in the transaction." The challenge on that, again, the sellers have to go through an enormous procurement process to get legal and finance and accounting to say, yeah, we want to do business with another third party company that's doing partnership with the marketplace.
Yep.
And they want all that legal documentation, and they're going to redline it, and they're going to say, oh, no, we don't agree to this term or that term. We won't agree to this penalty. And that doesn't work for many of the credit providers, the line of credit providers, the
I
financing
see.
companies. So it's these are the balance. That's the balancing act. But there are services out there that provide this.
Okay.
The
Well,
question is, what's the business for that finance service? Are they in it to make money on the interest, or are they actually in it to gather intel on transactional activity, on finance and accounting? What's the end goal of that third party business?
I see. That's what we have to recognize within the next couple of weeks. Yeah, thanks a lot for your time. Really
Yep.
appreciate it. I mean, it absolutely added some value for our journey.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Damien.
Thank you.
Sure. Let me know if you need
Thanks a
help.
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks a lot. And bye bye.
Have a
Have a
nice
nice day.
Quick question: where are you guys located? Europe?
Where we stay? Or
Are you in Europe?
right now yep, Turkey.
Yeah. Turkey. Okay.
Yep.
Istanbul or other?
Suburb of Istanbul.
Yeah, I've done work. I've flown there and done work with venture capital firm in Istanbul.
Great.
Yeah.
So yeah, we are just exploring U.S. market as number one in terms of volumes.
Very different than European market. The culture and the way that we operate. I mean, still there's business, but it's different enough.
Big challenge. All right, that's exciting.
Take care.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Bye bye.
Так, а что ты его слил, либо он слился?
Бро, тебя не слышно.
А что ты его слил, либо он сам слился?